You are now tuned in to what should be an exciting NBA Hoops edition. We are finally in the conference finals, and I think a pretty surprising one from where we were at a couple of weeks ago. What a seesaw matchup between the Wolves and the Nuggets, with the Wolves regaining their footing. A phenomenal Game 7, one that I'm sure will have a lot of discussion here tonight. Kind of a surprise on the other side, the Dallas Mavericks making it all the way the Eastern Conference Finals. Man, a lot has changed since we had our big argument about people being MVP and them not even being the 6th seed. They ended up getting all the way to the damn Eastern Conference or Western Conference Finals. And then a shocking matchup on the other side. I think there was a lot of sadness in a couple of offices, TV offices out there in the world. The Pacers and the Celtics. Pacers right now, currently as we record this, holding serve with the Celtics, surprisingly. 62-62. I was just telling Tay before we got on here, man, that would be one of the most shocking, I think, dark horse, no, absolutely no one called it, appearances of somehow the Pacers making it to the finals. Crazy stuff. We are here, conference finals, a lot of surprises. Axe, thoughts on where we're at and thoughts on how we got here?
Well, what's up? What's happening? But the dope thing is, we was talking about how the young talent was going to take over, and it was going to be a change in the guard. So you get to see a new face get a trophy for the first time, whether it be Halliburton, Tatum, Luka, or Ant. So that's the dope thing about it. We've gotten competitive games, and it's been pretty intriguing playoffs, like especially with the rise of Ant, man. As far as the Celtics Pacers, I don't want to say too much, but Celtics just have to run the Pacers off the 3-point line. That's the main thing. That's what it boils down to. Had to force guys to like score one-on-one and watch the cutters mainly, because it's a lot of off-ball movement the Pacers have been doing in this first half. So, I mean, the Pacers, I know they've been playing injured teams, but they didn't earn their way to this spot. So they're here for a reason. Despite the injuries, they are a solid team. It's title or bust for the Celtics. And Western Conference Finals is going to be intriguing as well. Just Luka and Kyrie versus Ant-Man, Cat, and the Wolves. Like, it should be a competitive game. So, competitive series in general. So, just really, really excited about the conference finals. Hopefully, the Celtics take care of business in 5. Hopefully. And I got the Wolves in 7.
What do you think there, Tay?
Yeah, I'll start with the Western Conference first. Yeah, I definitely have the Timberwolves. Like I've had them going to the finals. I'm not gonna switch. Got the Wolves in 6. Just think they're the better team out of them in Dallas. I do think Dallas will put up a fight. But a lot of times Dallas goes down by a lot of points. Like, they get in those blowouts and stuff like that, or they get down early and they try to fight their way back. I don't think that's gonna work. The Timberwolves, they usually do a good job in protecting the lead. So I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves in the West. And for the East, I'll go Celtics in 5. Every time I've said Celtics sweep, they always lose. Game they shouldn't lose, but they still advance, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'll go Celtics in 5. Don't think the Pacers are on the same level as the Celtics. Pacers are a good basketball team, but I'll say that for another episode. Celtics are the better team. My pick is Celtics, Timberwolves in the finals.
So, what's your thoughts on how things went with your team and the Pacers? How the heck did we get here? Shocking result.
I mean, I wasn't surprised. Like once I went to 7, I was kind of like, I thought we would win. Then we got OG. He played 5 minutes in game 7. Like we looked like Johns Hopkins out there, man. It was pretty bad, but I'm not upset. Like that just gives me more hope for next season. Like I'm not mad. We weren't gonna go to the finals regardless, especially not with this. Not at all. But I'm happy we at least competed. We got out the first round. We went to 7 in the second round. I'm not mad at all. I think this is a successful season, and just it makes us a good free agent destination for anyone that's willing to move off of their team. So this was a successful season, and yeah, I'm excited for next year.
True, I know you got lots to say about this Nuggets Timberwolves situation. You kind of called it in the beginning, said, "Hey man, this is the way this is going," and they got all the way there.
Well, I was a little worried about the Timberwolves, mostly because of the fact the Timberwolves looked lost. They lost 3 straight to the Nuggets, and it didn't look like they had what it takes. But the Nuggets are a weird team. They look like a terrible team games 3 through 5, but games 1 and 2 and 6 and 7 they look like damn near unstoppable. And I think if they're the Dallas, I think they'll be fine. You know, I think I have the Wolves winning in 6, maybe 5, depending on how they show up. As far as the Pacers and the Celtics, a lot of people were saying nobody wanted to see them. I obviously wanted to see the Knicks and Celtics just for the crowd purposes and obviously how it turned out. But the Pacers are a healthier team, and I think Tate said it when they went to Game 7. He kind of was like, "eh," and that was kind of my feeling too. I thought Game 7 in the Garden you show up, but Knicks didn't show up. Halliburton all of a sudden wants to actually play offense now. You know, do his thing on offense. I mean, he wasn't doing it before, but all of a sudden these last couple games he stepped up. And right now, watching the Celtics and the Pacers in this first half while we're recording this, the Celtics don't look like no slouch right now. You know what I'm saying? They don't look like a slouch right now. So we'll see how it turns out though. I'm gonna still pick the Celtics in 5 or 6, but if the Pacers can hit threes and keep making these shots, and you know Nembhard and Neesmith can be factors as role players, Celtics might be in for a long series. I mean, we saw, was it last season that the Celtics got taken? Was it 7 games? Was it 7 games? No, was it 2 years ago? It was one of those years that they got taken to 7. They took the Heat. No, it was 2 years ago.
The Heat took them to
No,
7
last
last year.
Yeah, he took them to 7. Yeah, because the Heat went up 3-0, and then Celtics won 3 straight games and then lost Game 7. So if they don't get this game, I don't know, brother. They don't get this game, we might be looking at 6-7 game series. And I'll tell you what, if the Pacers end up making the finals, yeah, that's all I would say. The Pacers end up making the finals. I mean, in Axe faction,
if they make the finals, they're a finals worthy team, are they not? I don't know if anybody looks at this roster, but goddamn.
And as Axe would say, you know, they shooting like 60% from the field. I don't think they're gonna keep that up. So I'm not gonna, you know, put too much stock into it. But it's like they're capable of doing this. The Pacers we saw earlier in the season could find that rhythm, and they played the Celtics like fairly well, actually. Think about it, all season they played them fairly well. So it's not like it's a foregone conclusion that the Celtics are gonna whoop their ass. But I don't know. I don't trust any team with Miles Turner on it, but at the same time, I want a good series. Anytime you know it's Game 1, mind you, the Celtics have been done for a couple days and well rested. The Pacers win 7 games, and they're still managing to keep up. So, you know, that's not bad at all. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll see how it turns out, though.
And on top of, you know, you want to talk about home field advantage, home court advantages. You know, it's not going to be the same prestige as Madison Square Garden, but Indiana, that place is going to be fucking wild when they go there. Eastern Conference Finals, home court advantage. That is going to be interesting. If Indiana can steal one of these first 2 games, it's going to get real touchy. You had, you know, some of the most thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks some months ago. Drew, how did they do this? How'd they get here? How'd they put away this OKC team that we all love so much?
It's very simple. I don't think anybody would have expected it, but I mean, I think we did. I think a lot of us said, this would be a close series. I think the Mavs got fairly lucky in the first round. No Kawhi Leonard having to play James Harden in the playoffs. I mean, can't get better than that, right? Playing James Harden in the playoffs.
James Harden, and he got away with it because a bunch of other crazy shit happened that night. But yeah.
So it's like I think everything went to me. I think everything went fairly as expected. With the first round, the second round, it was tough, man. Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm watching the game. Just saw that 3 from Halliburton. No, it's one of those things where Dallas, man, I was so shocked that they managed to avoid Game 7. I was first of all, I was disappointed. That's the first thing. I was like really disappointed because I really wanted another Game 7. But I think the reality is when you look at what OKC was doing, SGA can only do so much. Chet is not fully prepared or fully ready for that. It feels like he's not fully ready for that spot. At least that's how it seems. So, Jalen Williams, he had a rough series. Kyrie had a rough series. So Kyrie having a rough series, honestly, to me, that was kind of like the thing that you kind of you kind of wonder, like, okay, if he did that and they won in 6, how's that going to play into the the Wolves series? I think obviously Minnesota's defense is a lot better than OKC's defense. In my opinion, I think they're better. I know Lou Dort is a pretty good defender. But I think it's just a world of difference. And I think when you have PJ Washington going out there putting up 25 in certain games, when you have Derrick Jones Jr. doing that, most people would say that's fake. It's fake as hell because you're not used to seeing Derrick Jones Jr. do that. You're not used to seeing PJ Washington do that. And also PJ Washington playing good defense. When you have role players who can complement your stars like Luka and Kyrie, it helps. I just think that luck might run out. I just feel like that luck might run out because the Minnesota defense is swarming. It is locked down when it wants to be. I think the only thing that would give the Mavericks the chance to make this a quick series or win in 5 or 6 would be if Minnesota forgets their entire defensive identity. Otherwise, I don't see PJ Washington or Derrick Jones Jr. really stopping Ant. Don't see Lively or Gafford 100% slowing down, say, Karl Anthony Towns. But at the same time, Dallas has what it needs to make a run at the finals, and this is what happens when you get rewarded. You get rewarded for making moves, right? The Pacers brought in Siakam, and the Dallas went and got PJ and Gafford. Anthony Edwards is out there playing with Karl Anthony Towns. They got Jaden McDaniels. They went and got Mike Conley. So that I think it's these are the things that make a difference when you have squads that are put together that are hungry. And we're seeing literally the Celtics, obviously most stacked team in the NBA. Pacers made a big move for an All-Star, and all those things paid off. So for next season, if you're the Knicks, if you are the I don't know, the Lakers, the Warriors, any of those, the Bulls, any of the big market teams, go be aggressive. Free agency, go make some trades, because you might land you a PJ Washington or Daniel Gafford. You might land you a Pascal Siakam. You might a Mike Conley. So, you just might.
Gentlemen, thoughts on what our finals are going to be? Tay, you said you picked the Timberwolves from the beginning. Expand a little bit on that. What's going to lift them above the Mavericks?
They got the better team. Like just in general, they got the better bench. They got the greatest defender, one of the greatest defenders of all time. Dating back to the
All time.
1940s. But they got second team all defense, Jaden McDaniels, all NBA Anthony Edwards, all-star Karl Anthony Towns. Everyone just contributes in their own way. Like they just have so many different ways they can hurt you. Offense, defense, they can shoot threes, they can defend on the 3-point line, they can defend in the paint. Like they just
How poetic
have no
was it
issues.
that everybody is giving Gobert all this fucking grief, and then he cranked it up in that game. Had one of the dagger fadeaway jumpers to end it.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't know why they always hate on all-time greats, man. But yeah, like I just think I don't know. I don't think Dallas has enough. Like I don't think Dallas has enough when it comes to the Timberwolves defense. Like I don't know. I just think the Timberwolves defense is gonna be too much, especially at the beginning. Kind of like how Denver Nuggets struggled early on in the stage. I think it could look just like that. Just having to adjust, like I feel like if you get too far behind, especially for a team like Dallas, I think it might be a little bit too hard to come back from.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wolves jump all over them with the momentum they have, the heat that they have right now, and then Denver just doesn't have the horses to come back and make it a series the way the Nuggets did. The horses in the championship pedigree, the way the Nuggets did. Axe, Western Conference. You got the Timberwolves advancing past the Mavs, and why?
Just defensive pressure from the perimeter defenders, Jaden and Ant. I think Cat, he's going to be a problem. I'm not sure if Dallas has a consistent answer with Cat offensively. And yeah, like Minnesota's death. But it'll be competitive. I think Luka's going to have his moments. I think Kyrie's going to have his moments as well. So I don't think it'll be a cakewalk, but I just feel like they'll cause too much pressure on the defensive end. They'll wreak havoc.
Tay, so who are they going against? Are we going to get into any Tay's takes, LLC, any hot stuff here? Do the Pacers have a chance?
No.
Do we have a chance of no? Okay.
No. They
Tell us why.
They have a puncher's chance. I guess you could say they have a puncher's chance. Like, last round knockout with 15 seconds left. They have that kind of chance. But no way. No way. They can't beat Boston. Tatum and Jaylen Brown will have to get hurt. Something like that. That would have to happen for the Pacers to advance. It's just not going to happen.
So we're looking a Celtics Timberwolves final, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Axe, I got a feeling, I know where your pick's going to lie here, but tell us why. Tell us why the Celtics are going to roll right past these Pacers.
Well, we really need Porzingis back. Hopefully he can get his rhythm. But just mainly too much Tatum and Brown. I think they can assert themselves. I think Drew could be effective in the post. Miles Turner is causing problems. He has played well against us before, so that's been an issue. Neesmith, he kind of plays motivated against us, but I just feel like we have too much scoring when it comes down to it. It's just about locking in and running them off the 3-point line because they don't have as many shot creators. I just feel like our shot creators trumps theirs. But they're a quality team, though. Like, credit to them. The fact that they weren't in the playoffs last year. So to go from not in the playoffs to the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a successful season regardless of what happens. So even if it ends in 5 or so, they have nothing to be ashamed of. This is a successful season for the Pacers.
Okay. So quickly, while we're here, let us ponder our orb in a Timberwolves Celtics matchup. Tay, what are you prepared to say on a Timberwolves Celtics matchup as you see that? I think that is really intriguing between the star power of the Celtics and the fire and the up and coming momentum of the Timberwolves.
I'm definitely not picking the Celtics. Like I'm definitely not picking the Celtics whatsoever. like I said, the Timberwolves just they just have everything you want in a team. Like I can't think of any weakness they have. Like they can
feel a little bit like a Heat team, but with like talent, with like top end stars.
Yeah, like that Heat. Yeah, I mean, I've been
Yeah.
seeing that. Like that comparison.
The momentum, the
2006
pressure,
Heat team.
the
I
toughness.
keep seeing that. Yeah, I would say it seems better, but yeah, I see the similarities definitely. Yeah, the Timberwolves, like, they're just so well rounded. Like, they got multiple scorers and multiple defenders. When you have multiple guys that can, impact the game and not just like one scorer and one defender, they have multiple guys that
multiple
can
future
play
Hall of
different areas.
Famers.
Yeah, they got all-time greats dating back to the 1960s, and Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders I've seen in my life. Yeah, I just think the Timberwolves
Good Lord.
they're just better than the Celtics. Like the Celtics, they'll put up a
I mean,
fight. Like, that's a 7-game
when you
series.
think about it, we really could be looking at a team with 2 future Hall of Famers on it. If Anthony Edwards continues in the way that he's going, and then Gobert's resume.
Oh yeah, he's already in. He can retire
It is what
today.
it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Celtics, they can say that too. They got some Hall of Famers on their team as well.
True. Thoughts on a potential Wolves Celtics matchup finals?
I'm gonna take Wolves in 6. But I think when you look at the teams that are available in these playoffs, those are the teams from this regular season. Like, up until Cat's injury, Minnesota was number 1 like majority of the year in the West. They were pretty much right there neck and neck between them and OKC. So
people kind of slept on it a little bit. I think people just couldn't believe it was happening as it was happening in real time. If Cat doesn't have an injury, then they're our number 1 seed most likely. So,
which is to me kind of hilarious, because when you really look at it, right? Like, think about think about most Rudy Gobert teams. Obviously, prior to the Minnesota trade, when he's Utah had success with him and Donovan Mitchell in the regular season, just that nobody believed in him when it came to the postseason. So I think this is showing you that if he has a solid team around him and some perimeter defenders, that maybe he isn't as much of a liability, because when he's out there in the perimeter, sometimes he can struggle. But if you have a Jaden McDaniels, an Anthony Edwards, Alexander Walker, who can guard the perimeter fairly well, you really can go far. And although the Celtics have another gear, and that's what I'll say. They have another gear, and I absolutely believe that they could win a series. But I think there are some instances where they lack a little bit. They lack, and as they lack certain things, you start to see. I guess you start to see where you can start to chip away, and the Pacers aren't as good as, say, the Wolves, and neither were the Cavs and some of the other guys that they play with. So going against a team that should be fully healthy, there's no telling how Porzingis is going to look when he comes back. I think it is very, very fair to say, if the Wolves can remain healthy in this series against Dallas and make it to the finals, then I think I would probably go with the Wolves. I think the Celtics have answers, but so do the Wolves. But the Wolves seem to have more answers in terms of defense, where the Celtics have more answers on offense. So it's going to be like the great clash.
Matchup.
Yeah, and this is what you want. This is, the Celtics are obviously one of the biggest franchises in the entire game in general. And then you're also looking at the Wolves, who have arguably the next face of the NBA as their number 1. So you got a four-time defensive player of the year. You have
face versus the face.
Yeah, you got a former pick, former top pick in Karl Anthony Towns. former, got top pick in Anthony Edwards. You got high draft picks in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You got Drew Holiday. You got if he's healthy, Kristaps Porzingis. Derek White has been. I think Derek White today got announced for both him and Jaden McDaniels got announced for all defensive, if I'm not mistaken. I think I know Jaden McDaniels did. Not 100% sure if I saw Derek White. I gotta double check that.
And Drew Holiday, they're both on the second team. All three of them are on the second team.
But let's
okay.
We just started the conference finals. Let's not spend too much time. I don't want to be disrespectful to the Mavericks and the Patriots, especially with the Patriots hanging in there. Like,
not right now.
Anybody? They're pulling away. I mean, it's serious.
Not pulling away, but
do you guys give the Pacers any shot at all against the Timberwolves?
No, absolutely not. No.
Tay, is it a hell no?
Yes.
10 seconds in the last round of a fight. Need a knockout.
Another one of those.
Even worse. Yep.
Well, we here at DAR hope we scored a first round knockout on your conference finals coverage. A little bit shorter tonight because our time with the NBA is getting a little bit shorter as we narrow in on the intensity, the tightness of these games. We hope you guys are back for more hooping and hollering. We got one more Football Friday left before we steal off to Cabo for about 6 weeks before camps start up. That will be NFC East and AFC East draft classes this Friday, and we will be back for camps after that. But your guys are still covering football because we are still producing the #1 show on the United Football Media YouTube page. That is United Football Media's Tell Me About It. It's a wraparound Sports Center style show about the UFL, which is narrowing down their season, heading to the playoffs. A lot of big things happening down there. And of course, we're back every weekend, me and True. The weekend wrestling, you never know which guests are going to pop up on there. We're always working on stuff. A lot of interesting things to talk about here in these last couple of weeks coming on down for both sides, WWE, AEW, whatever else we had to fitting in there. So please tune in for that. Please give the page a sub here on YouTube. Like sports shows got the comments open. Please jump in there. Tay loves the comments. Thank you for everybody listening. As you can hear from all of that stuff, all of our coverage, the things we got bubbling in all these places, the world of DAR never stops.